Hello, everyone. Welcome to Business Performance USA webinar series. Today is our topic, Too Important to Fail, Top Reasons Why Websites Fail. Apologies for that. And obviously, this is a critical issue. So thank you for joining us today, and you may be watching this on demand online, and that's terrific as well. So let's just get started, and allow me to introduce myself. On the next slide, you'll see there I am, Victor Dominguez, hosting today. My real job is managing partner business of Ligature Group, and I am also the executive director of Business Performance USA. I do that in conjunction with my partners, Cynthia Stewart, who is online today, and Dr. Jeff Stewart. The three of us founded Business Performance USA to serve our professional communities and make sure businesses can grow and succeed, because we believe when businesses succeed, so do the communities that we all live in. So thank you for joining us today. And again, you will hear at times Cynthia Stewart join in. We don't have her photo there, but trust me, she's lovely, charming, and wildly intelligent, wicked intelligent if you're from Boston. Our presenter today is Mary Putnam, and she is the star of the moment. She actually owns a number of businesses, but today she's representing Design Your Site, and Mary is an expert. I'm going to get back to Mary in a second, but let me just talk about a little housekeeping here, because we want to make sure this hour is worth your time. So please feel free to ask questions using our questions feature and the chat feature, whichever is most intuitive for you. We monitor both. And if you're watching this online, certainly email me at victor@businessperformanceusa.org, and I'm happy to answer questions for you, because after all, why invest the time to watch a webinar if you don't take action? And we want you to take action on making your website as viable as possible, meaning it's going to drive your business. So with that, let me get back to Mary. She's an absolute dear and a trusted colleague. And Mary Putnam is an internet executive with more than 20 years of industry experience and insight. She's really good at developing winning strategies, driving business results, and focusing on client satisfaction. Work with Mary. She's going to make you happy because she's going to make your customers happy. Mary sees technology as a great enabler, and she uses technology to build a better mousetrap. For instance, making your website or web application work the way you work, not the other way around. She believes that technology can enable companies to have better workflows, better information gathering. I personally love that one. Better customer and employee relations, better marketing, and a greater quality of life, because your business is going to run more efficiently. That's going to help your quality of life. Now, in the course of her career, Mary has worked across many industries. She's very versatile. That includes manufacturing, banking, education, energy, nonprofit, that would be us, legal, retail, service, and telecom. So, quick thought, you don't have to answer it now, but Mary would challenge you with this thought. If technology can save you 1 hour a day, what would you do with that hour? How would you really improve the quality of your life and your business? That's what technology and Mary can do for you. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Mary. Take it away.
Well, thank you so much, Victor. I always just feel gratified to hear the kind things that you have to say. So I wanted to really help business owners today by helping them understand why websites fail. And I think the most important thing, oh my goodness, I forgot about this slide. Of course, I'm Mary Putnam, and I just wanted to let you guys know I've been doing this a while. I began my career in the Internet of Things before AT&T and Google, so I've been around a while. So moving right into the value that I think I can bring to you today is helping you understand the top 5 reasons why a website can fail. So briefly, a website, you need to understand what you're trying to achieve with your existing website or something that you want to add to your website. You need to understand what they Googled, meaning the people who are coming to your website. Another reason that your site could fail is that you have a lack of focus. And the Goldilocks Syndrome, which I'm sure you will enjoy. Hopefully this will be a memorable all of these things will be memorable for you and make it easy for you to spot these in your website and others. And the last thing I want website owners to understand is it's not all about you. So we'll get into more of those as we move through our little talk today.
I want to hear about Goldilocks. I'm just curious as all can be.
Oh yeah,
Thanks, Mary.
I like to have fun. I think that we should always enjoy what we're doing, so I always try to make these fun and memorable, again, for people.
Perfect.
So moving right into the lack of purpose, there's a lot of things that you need to think about of what you really want the website to achieve, and this can be many things. So you can be trying to go mobile responsive. You might want to increase your branding. You may want to improve customer support. You may want a stronger marketing message, images, video. There's so many things that your website can do for you. So the very first thing that I ask a client to think about as we're moving into a project is, what are our goals? So we set our goals, and that's how we define whether or not we've achieved them. If we achieve our goals, then then we have success. If we don't achieve them, we have not succeeded. And we'll talk about a few more of those goals as we move along. But I also try to tell clients, you don't have to eat the whole elephant. We can set small goals and increase them as we achieve them. So we'd like to assign one person in the organization as the primary stakeholder who gets to decide, because a lot of times there's going to be competing voices, like we saw in the previous slide, where people are, they have different agendas. So the marketing department is going to want the website to have more marketing focused brochures, interactive brochures, this, that, and the other. And the sales department may want it to be mobile responsive because the demographics are switching into mobile responsive. HR may want you to have, more information about what a great company it is to work for. So one person really has to decide what the goals are. Many times your goals are set by your budget. If you have unlimited budget, that's a bonus, but most companies have a budget set aside for what they want to achieve in a specific time frame, and somebody has to decide what things bring the most value for that budget and what are the most important things to the company at that point in time. So it's certainly something that you need to budget for, something that you need to set goals for, and when those things are in place, you can achieve success.
So Mary, that's a good comment. If I can just jump in,
yeah, please.
You can stay on this slide, and it relates to the previous slide. What I do when I talk to clients about developing their website is get them to understand, just as you said, it's a reflection of the entire company on that website, and it will be a conflict at times, but it's also what I think is a really key opportunity to raise the stake and expectations for how that company delivers to the customer. It's like branders, marketing people like me, we make the promise, but the company has to deliver. So it's really not just about a website, it's about the entire company coming together, learning to collaborate, and really up their game on how they're going to deliver and personify that on the website. So it's a cultural opportunity as well. Thanks.
It is. Yeah, thank you so much. So I need to add that to my goal setting, but that is a very important point, is that you're communicating to your customer the value add, who you are as a potential vendor, I guess, for them. So thanks for adding that, Victor. So
if I could interject real quick too.
Please.
Sorry about that. Mary, I think you sort of wrapped it, as you wrapped up your comments, I think you said this, but the lead-in kind of sounded like the people inside the company were coming from where they wanted to come from. And I think what's really important about websites is to always keep the customer in mind. What is it that the client really needs when they come to your website?
Exactly. And we're going to cover that when we get to It's Not All About You. So thanks for bringing that point up, Cynthia. So
just to drop in, we still have folks showing up, and we welcome that, and that's not uncommon. So If you have
Okay.
showed up late, please know that we record all of our webinars and that you can watch the entire webinar on demand and take notes. Thanks, Mary.
Thank you. So the second thing I want people to think about of why their website is successful or not is to understand what the people who come to their website have Googled in order to get there. And I'm using Google as a verb, not as a browser, because there's many browsers. But we have culturally adopted the word Googled as the meaning for searching for something. So there are many paths that come to your website. You have to think about the search engines, which there are not only Google, but there's Bing and Yahoo. Those are the top three. There's a search engine most people haven't heard of. It's called DuckDuckGo, and it's about the fourth in all the search engines. And of course, then there's AOL, and there's so many, AskWeb. There's so many out there search engines that are using similar formulas to Google to bring traffic to your site. So you need to understand how people are getting there. There's not only the search engines, there's also all these directories out there, many of which list your information not very much without your permission. They go out and they find your company and they put a very basic listing on there, and they may not have the most current or correct information. We do advise people to do what we call reputation management with the directories to make sure that, there's about probably 200 of them, right? That they at least all have the current information on your address, your phone number, your keywords. They can also be important in bringing traffic to your site, but you want to make sure they're coming to your site for the right reason. So just to give you a case example, a couple of people have said, can you help me? For some reason, I keep getting traffic to my website, and this would be an IT company, for the bus station in downtown Tulsa. And so somewhere along the way, his address had gotten in one of those directories, commingled with the bus station. Another one of those directories had picked it up and republished it. So we helped him by going in and cleaning up those directories in the back and getting that all synchronized. Another client has a manufacturing plant that does anodizing, which is a process with metals and paints and so forth. And he keeps getting traffic for wrecking companies, where they go out and they tear down buildings and haul off the trash. And so in an audit of his website, the previous web designer had embedded that information into his website, and Google and the other search engines were picking it up. So it's really important to know what your traffic is and how it got there. And there are tools for that. So any really good web designer or analyst can help you with that. The third thing that I think really defines whether or not a website is successful is their focus, a lack of focus, if you don't know what your primary targets are. So one of the things that I do when I work with clients is try to get them to define that. A lot of companies will say everyone is their customer. I hear people say this all the time. Everyone who wears shoes is my customer, right? Everyone who, and most of my customers are B2B, so I'm trying to think of really generic examples. In my case, it would be easy for me to say everyone who needs a website, which is every business out there, is my potential customer. That's not always true. What I have found in working with companies is that every one of them joined the market because they felt like they could make a difference in their product line. So that's what we're looking for, is your key product that you're really focusing your revenue on. I tell people, where does 80% of your revenue come from? And that's where you want to put your focus for your website, especially if you're just now taking that website seriously to generate traffic and conversions with it. Now, if you're in an expanded mode with your website and you already have traffic and conversions, you may want to look at something, what's the next thing, which we do with clients as well. So what we do is we have you help you find out how they will find you. And we have tools for that. We do some research. We come together with numbers that tell you, look, this many people are searching for what you do using this term, and this is where we think you should focus your keyword strategy. We also look at what your competitors are, what are they doing? We go and we research their websites, your top 3 competitors, to see what are they doing to bring traffic into their website to, and right now we're really talking about conversion, creating conversions and sales. So we think, the keyword strategy is very key to your website succeeding when you're doing conversions. The other thing is analytics. And once that traffic starts moving, or you set some things in motion, then you want some measurables to see how is it working. You should see something within 30 days, 30 to 90 days. Occasionally we'll see activity or ranking very, very rapidly, but it doesn't always generate traffic rapidly. So, ranking is great. Traffic is what you're looking for.
So, Mary, may I ask a couple questions there?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So what are some ways that you help people sort of hone in on answering those questions?
Well, we sit down. Obviously, we have a conversation. People start to tell me about their business, and I ask a lot of questions to help them. and I don't know that I can say I have a formula. It's a very intuitive thing. I think for me, a lot of that comes from the fact that I've been doing this for so long, and I have a very strong sense of how the internet works and what does work and doesn't work. And then I listen very deeply to people to understand what it is they really want. And sometimes it takes longer than other times, and sometimes not. So some people have a clearer idea of what they want to achieve, where they're going with their market and why they got in business. So it depends on it's very individual, but we do try to, we have to pull that out. And sometimes we'll go do keyword searches trying to create this strategy, and then we'll have to take a step back and then go at it again, because it's not always just clearly apparent that somebody's looking for you with this particular set of words. And so we spend a little bit of time, going back and forth with that, gathering those numbers. I hope that helps. So this slide really talks about measure what works. This is these things are provided by Google Analytics. If you embed their code, this is a very simple thing to do. Everyone should be able to do it. If you embed their code into your web pages, they will tell you in great detail what traffic is coming to your site, what keywords are being used, who's sending you traffic. There's 4 things we talk about in who's sending you traffic. We talk about search engine traffic. We talk about referrer traffic. I'm not going to be able to remember the 4th one. We talk about social media, and I've kind of lost that for the moment. Referrer traffic is anywhere that you've put your information and it links back to you. So if you're a member of an industry and you've written some article or they've included you in a registry, that information is going to link back to you. And those things play into your credibility as far as the search engines view you. So there's multiple ways to affect those measurements, and what you want to know is, what it's doing to your ranking and how much traffic you're generating. And of that traffic that comes to your website, how much of it's staying there and looking around. So how many pages did they look at once they got there? How long did they stay on a page? We have this terminology, I'm sure you've heard it, called bounce rate. And so you can see it here on the bottom of the screen on the bottom left corner. If your bounce rate is 80%, your website is not doing its job at all. So we want to reduce that bounce rate because we want to make sure we're getting the right traffic to the website, and once they get there, that the information that you're giving them is what they need. That's why they stay. So that's, you know, one crucible in that measurability that will really help you refine your message and your traffic generation that you're doing to get your website to meet your goals.
And Mary, Victor here. A bounce is recorded when a visitor leaves a page within X number of seconds. Is that correct? 3 seconds?
Right. Well, they've moderated that formula, and I do need to review it, but it can be, yes, it can be under so many seconds, or it can be that they never left the home page. They just went to the home page and they never did anything else. So Google likes to see people take action. We can also measure those actions. We have tools to set up goals for the website. So, yeah, so if somebody goes to your website, picks up the phone number and leaves, that's a bounce to Google. But it's not a bounce to you, is it?
No, it's not. It's not. But, and just for people's interest, the reason Google does this, they're not just simply being vicious. They want to deliver a quality experience to their users, and accuracy and depth of information creates a quality experience. So Google wants to deliver results that give you exactly what you're looking for.
Exactly.
So that's the reason they're doing this.
So, let's get on to the mystery, the Goldilocks Syndrome. Okay, so everybody remembers the story of Goldilocks and the 3 bears, right? Everything was, Goldilocks was like hanging out, the 3 bears were out, they weren't home, they weren't at the office, they'd gone to lunch, and Goldilocks came in looking around. And when she first got there, she saw things that were too big, too hot, too hard, right? And she saw things that were too soft and too cold and you know, too difficult. And then she saw things that were just right. So websites are the same way. You've all been to websites that are too complicated, too simple, or just right. So if a website is too complicated, and we'll just give one example of what that can look like. When you go to a website that is just cluttered with information and you cannot tell what they do, that people are going to leave. They're going to bounce right out of there. And if they come to the website and you don't communicate enough, it's too simple, then they might look around, but they're not going to do anything. They're not going to take action. They're not getting what they need. You're not communicating to them what you can do for them. And if the website is just right, they're going to be able to clearly understand what you do, and they're going to be able to understand what they need to do next in order to interact with you to get what they need that you've got. So it's pretty simple. You have any questions about my Goldilocks story, Victor?
No, I like simple. I dig it. It's
all right, good
spot, you know.
All right. So I think, you know, I hopefully that illustrates for all of you, when you go to a website in the future, you can just think Goldilocks. Too complicated, too simple, just right.
So if you have a, quote, complicated feature or page and nobody's going there, it's, you know, in other words, a page or a feature on your website that is nobody using, get rid of it because it simply complicates and clutters your website. Is that too simple of an analogy?
Well, or you can get rid of it if it's not serving its purpose to, you know, let's just say if the purpose is to convert someone to a customer, if it's not serving its purpose, then you want to get rid of it.
And if you're getting too high of bounces, it's too simple. There's nothing there to attract and keep people. So put video on there, MP3 files, downloads, reasons for people to stay on your site longer than, 30 seconds on a page is already starting to be pretty good, right? So you want to give them reasons to be on a page for a couple of minutes maybe.
Yes. And those things are all, you can measure all of those with the Google Analytics to see exactly how long people stayed on a given page. There are other things you can do. If a page seems just right but it's not converting, you can actually do things to increase the conversion rate with what we call A/B testing, which is essentially taking the page and duplicating it and then just tweaking one thing. And Google will present those for you back and forth separately and measure how many people, tell you exactly how many people went to the A page, how many people went to the B page, and then tell you, of course you can see the conversions. So you'll know which one's converting better, and you can keep tweaking that until you get a higher conversion rate, whatever goal you set for that. So that's just one of the things you can do to make a web page just
So Mary,
right. Go ahead, Cynthia.
I noticed that web pages started to converge around this one look where there was a banner that like had 5 pictures that would pass by every 5 seconds, and then it had sort of 3 boxes below it. Was that the attempt to simplify, and is that still sort of the norm for websites? It seems like I saw everybody converging on that look.
Well, what you're talking about is that just no different than clothing fashion and interior design fashion and so on and so forth. Websites have that going on too. So there's this constant use of a different look, a new look, trying to do something better. We were just looking earlier at the Berkshire Hathaway website, which is extremely simple. It looks like it was built in 1997. It's just a flat page with 10 links on it. Very, complicated amount of words. When you click on them, it's just another complicated amount of words. Obviously, he's not using that to generate traffic. He just wants to have a message out there. So that's a very old style. I can look at a style of website and pretty much tell you when it was created because I've been doing this for a while. So styles change, but at the end of the day, it's really about meeting those goals, whether you're trying to convert sales, whether you really want your website to be more for customer support than for new sales, if you want your website to support your office staff so that their process improvement, right, in the organization is optimized. You're optimizing what they do, making their job easier. So it depends on what your goal is. And I've been talking a lot about conversion because that's where people seem to be at right now. I want to get traffic to my website. I want more people to know about what I do, and I want to be able to find my market, have my market find me so that I can serve them. So moving on to the fifth slide, and this is actually Cynthia and I do some work together, and it's a subject that she's brought up in the past before. It's not all about you. So when I get to your website, if all you've done is told me how great you are and how long you've been in business and how many wonderful employees you have and all the dimensions of your parts or how big your stock is, and if that's all I know about you, I may think it's interesting, but I probably won't do anything. But if you tell me how you can solve my problem, how you can make my life better, how you can improve my quality of life, if you solve my problems, I will. And the industry is proving this, right? Not just me. If you solve their problems, they will take action. They will communicate with you and contact you. So you need to be thinking when you're doing your website of what do we do to make a person's life better. So if I told you that I had blue widgets and they came in 6 shapes and this many different sizes, you might think that was interesting. But if I told you that I had widgets that would make your automobile run faster and have less repair problems, now I've solved a problem for you. So see, it's a simple difference between really just being technical and communicating what that technical thing does for your customer. So be thinking about that. That's a really big thing. So once they get to your website, we've talked about how to get them there, right? Oh yeah, this is my next slide. We talked about how to get them there. We've talked about giving them a good user interface. And now we've talked about really speaking to them about what you can do for them. We always encourage people to put a call to action on their website. Some people, when they go to your website, will pick up the phone and call. Some people will send an email. The contact form of yesteryear isn't enough anymore. You really have to tell them what they're going to gain by clicking on this button and giving you some information. You can do a giveaway. You can schedule an appointment. You can, every company has something that they can implement on their website that will entice people who want what they do to take action. Because you don't want somebody who doesn't need your service to take action. You want somebody who wants what you do to take action. And then we say measure those conversions. You can use Google Analytics to do that. For some of our customers, with that call to action, we embed it in their content management system dashboard so that they are actually building a mailing list. They can actually see what those actions were. Of course, they get an email telling them, hey, you better call this person. So we give them a heads up in addition to what Google Analytics tells them on conversions, but we gather, collect, and store that information for them so that they can use it for their marketing purposes. So those are very important. I guess I should see if there's any questions at this point.
Mary, I've got one question from the audience, and it was about your contact forms. The question is, do they still work? And do they still work? And the other side of this coin, for this individual's website, it seems like they're getting a lot of spam or solicitations from that contact form, really more than any customer inquisition, or inquiry. But and then the last part is, are forms just too slow? I mean, in the world of immediacy, would it be better to have maybe a chat feature? Would you like to chat with someone now? So it's kind of a broad perspective on forms and contact forms in general.
So it depends on, yes, those are good questions. It depends on the customer and what they're offering, how big they are. So what you see most of the time when you see that chat, that's a feature you can sort of rent, right, and create these scripts. So that person may not really work for you, and I think that works against you when you have somebody out there answering questions to your potential customers that's not really a part of your company. So that becomes an issue of whether or not you want to put somebody on staff responsible for that during certain hours of the day that can truly answer any questions that come in. Now, stepping back from that to contact forms, the contact forms of yesteryear where you just say, give us your name, email address, and phone number, and somebody will call you and put your question here. Those aren't very effective at all. Some people still want them because they've been so much a part of our history. What we find works is that you've got this specific thing that you're going to do for them if they click and fill out this form. Depending on what they're asking for, we ask for more information. So if it's a very small thing that you're giving away, we just get their name, their email address, and we send them a thank you email. So now you've got a way to mail them. If it's moving up the scale, to a bigger thing, then we get their phone number so that you can contact them by phone. There are ways to increase that participation and engagement once they've taken one step and given you that initial information, you can then email them deeper parts of your website where there's more detailed information, and do, again, an engagement where you get them to provide more information. Maybe at this point in time you're going to find out how big their company is. You're going to find out what their biggest marketing problem is or vendor problem, depending on your company. You're going to ask different questions as they move deeper and deeper into engagement. This is, and Victor is actually an expert on this, so I don't want to talk too much about it. I'm hoping that he'll have a webinar on that himself, but this is a more detailed lead generation that we refer to as inbound marketing. So
Right,
I've
Mary,
gone into that a little deeper than I meant to, but.
no, that's good. I appreciate the answer. It's all very good. And I agree, marketers generally believe in a quid pro quo kind of process. If you're going to ask a prospect or customer for information, give them something back so there's a fair exchange.
Exactly.
And they feel like they're getting value. So to fill out a form, give them a 5% discount, let them download a white paper or an ebook, something of value to them, tips, tricks, and advice on how to make their business and their lives better. It's the incentive programs. Always worked, still does.
Speaking of giveaways, I've offered to do a giveaway. Can you explain to me, are we going to just do the drawing and then send the response out to the recipient, Victor? Is that our goal?
Yeah, we have all the emails. We have a independent third party is just going to draw a name out from the attendees today, and Mary Putnam will provide a review of your website, and both Business Performance and Mary will contact you jointly and let you know that you have the opportunity to receive Mary's services in terms of a website review and a critique, if you will, which would be, I wish I could participate, but as a member of BP USA, I can't. So I really need help with my website. But yes, we'll contact the winning party and
okay, awesome.
let you know.
So on to our next slide.
So here we go. I'll take it from here, Mary, and I can't thank you enough. I appreciate your wisdom and advice, and I strongly encourage people to take action, do one thing to improve your website based on what Mary suggested during this webinar, and you'll be on your way to continually, consistently improving. And you, of course, can contact Mary at this contact information. You can see it below. Always feel free to reach out to her, either now live, but if you're watching online, reach out to her at that point. Ask her questions. Ask us questions. In closing, you can see that our next webinar coming up is June 23rd, Credible Communications. It's going to be produced and presented by Cynthia Stewart, whom you heard today. I'm really looking forward to this because I think communications, clear, compelling, motivating communications are the backbone of leadership and getting a company to move integrated cohesively in the same direction. So I'm a big believer in communications. It's what I do as well. So Cynthia, we look forward to that, June 23rd. And of course, become a member. It's the best way to interact with us and the best way for us to be able to collaborate, brainstorm, and advise. We're here to help expand your career and really work with you strategically on how, where you want to take your career, the purpose of your talents, your mission in your professional life. And we certainly help businesses and organizations prosper. So we develop people skills, we improve processes, and we teach strategic performance. That's what we do. Go to businessperformanceusa.org, look for that blue button with the worker bee on it and become a member. It's easy, it's always complimentary, and we're a community of professionals that want to help and serve each other. So thank you for that. Cynthia, any last parting comments on your side? I know I'm calling you out spontaneously here.
Well, I always learn from Mary because this is not my space websites, and yet I know I need her help desperately. But I do have a request next time, Mary. If you could put a picture of your companion there, I've heard him talking a little bit in the background, and I suspect that he has a furry face. So that would be
Yes.
that would be quite fun to see that furry face with
All
yours.
right.
Just a comment, making it
Thank
real, right?
you. That's right. Thank you.
And we got to extend it for you. We have a shout out from one of our guests, from Rick. He says, thank you, Mary, and has elaborated a little beyond that. But so thank you, Rick, for shouting out. And Mary, any last comments before we close out?
I just want to thank you for the opportunity to share what I know. I've always been an educator at heart, so I enjoy that aspect of being a part of the webinar series. So thank you, BPUSA.
You're welcome. And again, thank you for watching us live, and thank you for watching us on demand at a later time. Be well, take care, and have a good day.